Chase Thomas the Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
All right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me down there in Decatur, Georgia, my good friend, fellow University of North Georgia alumni, and the host of the Georgia Voice of College Football, Matt Green, is here. Matt, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, sir. It is good to be back with you again after another action-packed Saturday of college football.
It was certainly action-packed. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too action-packed for me. Matt Green could have done
too action-packed.
Yeah, just a little too action-packed for me. Hopefully, as we're taping this before the Falcons kick things off here on Sunday Night Football, it's just a straightforward Atlanta Falcons victory on the road in San Fran. That's a nice little nightcap. I can just kind of relax and cozy up because it's cold, man. I don't know what it's like in Atlanta, but we're officially entering chilly season here in the South. So yeah, I mean, it just weather's changing and we're peak football weather, it feels like. But yeah, third Saturday in October, Georgia, Ole Miss, coaches going down left and right. Like I feel like we're going to be outdated in at least one of these coach conversations we're going to have by tomorrow morning, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast here. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot's happening all across the sport, and a lot happened on the field and it's happening off the field as well. And then in the midst of all of this, I'm having to deal with minute by minute updates on if Tony Vitello is going to end up leaving Tennessee baseball for the San Francisco Giants here over the next 24 hours
Probably
or so.
should.
So it's been a crazy weekend. I never thought that Tennessee Bama be overshadowed by what's going to happen with the Tennessee baseball
There is
program.
no way that Tennessee baseball is overshadowing the Bama game. No way.
I think it did for a lot of folks. It did for me and a lot of folks. I mean, Tony Vitello is the best coach in the sport. Like Tony Vitello has won a national title. He is the juggernaut. What?
In a less important sport.
I mean, to some people, but it's just a juggernaut. Like it's just You are on top of the world with Tony Vitello, and you just have this behemoth. You have your Kirby Smart, your Nick Saban of that sport. Him potentially leaving for an unprecedented move because this has never happened. A college baseball coach going to the major leagues without working in the major leagues. It's never happened before, so it's all unprecedented, but well deserved.
Never happened. A guy who's, when you say just no experience, he was never on any sort of MLB staff at any point.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So we'll see. And again, as of a recording, like nothing's happened, and we'll see. The longer it goes, the better I think Tennessee fans should feel about what's happening. But again, I could be very wrong as people are listening to this on Monday morning, and I don't know. But yeah, it's just been crazy. So I think a lot of Tennessee fans are very much all in on the baseball program. Like the base that you keep adding, and it's just, I think it's also because you spend more time and equity into baseball. Like, this is a Braves guy. You watch a lot of games. You spend more time watching the Braves than you do anything else, I imagine, throughout the year, sports wise. So you put a lot of emotional investment into it. So I just think a lot of fans have put a lot of emotional investment into the Tennessee baseball program over the last 5 or so years, and you've been the best baseball program over those 5 years, and you just don't want to lose it after 5. So I understand. And it happening on the day that leaking like 4 hours before Tennessee and Bama kickoff. Yeah, of course it didn't mean that it took precedent over the game, but it did have everybody on edge, and it did have everybody's attention. So I think not every Tennessee football fan is also a big time Tennessee baseball fan, but there are a lot, man. And if you saw
what Joey Aguilar was thinking about, he was like, I just want to know what's going on with Tony Vitello.
No, I don't think the football program was thinking about it, but I do think a lot of all fans continue to wonder where things go on the baseball front. But yeah, it's been a crazy weekend for Tennessee athletics, no question.
And let's be honest, not even throwing shade here. It might be considered that way as the Georgia fan, but it's the only championship Tennessee has won in anything over the last decade or so. So I mean, there's a reason the fan base is going to care a lot if that guy bounces, even if he's not the best, the Saban, which he might be of college baseball right now. But yeah, that's obviously a big part of it as well. He's the one guy that got Tennessee their championship.
Well, I think his personality, it's who he is. Like I don't know. I could go on and on about
personality
how awesome Tony Vitello is.
Personality wise, he San Francisco just feels like the last team that he fits. Like, I don't know. San Francisco's just been so old and like boring for so long. Maybe that's why they want to bring him in. I don't know. The Giants have just, I don't know. They seem to have just a consistently 35-year-old roster over the last decade. I don't know. They're always an old, boring team. So maybe Vitello brings some energy, but we can't let that steal the lead, sir, because Tennessee, Alabama is obviously the bigger story. I guess you want to start with your game, or how do you want to do it?
Well, let's start with I just honestly, because I just spent like 2.5 hours writing about Tennessee, Alabama, and I'm going to talk a lot of Tennessee, Bama throughout the week. Let's start with Georgia. I could use a little bit of a break on the Tennessee, Bama front.
That's fair, sir. So where do you want to start when it comes to Georgia Bulldogs? Found another way to win on Saturday.
Well, I mean, first off, what's your biggest takeaway from Georgia finding a way to win? Because I think Georgia fans were frustrated again. You were able to overcome just a really sloppy, not even, I was going to say your own version of checker kneeling, but the white shirts in the end zone and then trying to do the stripe out and everything else. That was just kind of a mess, but it didn't end up mattering. But
I was skeptical of the stripe out, but I feel like the black side wasn't great. If they would have really committed to it and had like the colored pom-poms in each section, I think then it really would have showed. But you could at least tell the white stripe and down the middle was very, it stood out differently. But yeah, I don't know. It was bold, but it wasn't embarrassing.
Like that's just not, it felt very out of character. You know what I mean? Like I feel like Tennessee, like that's part of the deal. Tennessee knows what they're doing with checker kneeling. Penn State knows how to do a whiteout. Some programs, it's just like part of the deal and like sewn in the fabric and the DNA of the fan base and of the stadium experience. That's not a thing Georgia does. It's never been a thing that Georgia does. It just felt odd when that started picking up steam. It's like, what are we doing? Like, you don't, it's not,
I respect you are, Georgia. I respect trying to do something that's fun for the fans. It was better than Ohio State's because Ohio State had the attempt of like the silver on both sides and like the stripe down the middle.
Yeah.
And maybe that's a little more of a complicated pattern as well. But yeah, I would say it wasn't embarrassing. It didn't totally hit, but you could kind of see what they were going for a little bit. But yeah, in terms of the game, I feel like the conversation that's being had about Georgia is wrong right now. Like I've listened to like other college football people kind of talking and the broadcast was kind of talking this way. I feel like there's too much conversation about what this Georgia team is not and not enough conversation about what this team is. Like it's just kind of the perception of Georgia defensive juggernaut and 5 stars all over. And obviously this team has probably more people than anyone in the country that was a former 5-star recruit. But we've also seen plenty of 5-star recruits that just aren't like the difference makers they're supposed to be. You know, it's like, it's no like shade to say Ellis Robinson isn't like the best player in the country. And according to his recruiting ranking, he would be like the best player in the country right now, right? As sophomore. And that was the number 1 player in the country. So like the recruiting rankings just aren't always accurate. You look at this team for what it is right now. I think CJ Allen's had a great year. Maybe he's a borderline first rounder. I think you sent me a mock draft the other day. That had him going 32. That was the only first rounder Georgia had. Dalen Everett was a guy who was getting a lot of credit. He didn't have a great performance on Saturday. I think most people don't think that Georgia has an NFL quarterback with Gunnar Stockton. So there's not one guy I would say is a surefire first round pick in next year's draft. Maybe there's guys in the 2027, 2028 draft that are currently on the roster or something. But that's not necessarily what's most relevant for this season. You know, Zachariah Branch has looked really good so far. So I feel like people are kind of talking. They're not a juggernaut. Like this Georgia team, that's not what they are. But if you kind of take that step back, it's like they've just been a really impressive team to watch. Like, yeah, they've had these rough first half starts and everything. This was not one of those. I think this was the defense just plain isn't good. I think we can just say that now. They at least had a good quarter in this one. They've had games where they've had good halves. They had one good quarter in this one, but the defense isn't good. It just is what it is at this point. But the offense, like this game and the Tennessee game, the offense didn't actually get off to slow starts. The offense just went blow for blow, basically. So the fact that I felt like so much of the conversation in this game, rewatching the broadcast and everything, was just so much about this Ole Miss offense is unstoppable and obviously scored touchdowns on their first 5 drives. but I don't feel like there was enough attention that Georgia scored a touchdown or scored on every single drive on Saturday. Like, there's not a lot of games where a team doesn't punt and they score on literally every single drive, 5 touchdowns and 3 field goals. So this offensive performance and just how this team is kind of built, I just think it's a really encouraging sign. Like, they're far from flawless, but I haven't seen any teams in college football that are flawless to this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's just, I think, jarring, that Georgia defensively just can't get stops, right? Like, on one hand, it's a testament that I think Bobo is doing a much better job than it feels like for a lot of fans at times. And I think Gunnar Stockton's fine. Like you said, I think he had a really good game on Saturday again. And they're continuing to find their footing. I think the offensive line is getting better for Georgia. I think that's a big part of it. I mean, you're getting some big time freshman play from Gaston and Glover, which I think has been huge for Georgia. And that's great for your long term because you're going to have those guys.
Green was back in this one.
Yeah, so I think that helps. Obviously, the tight ends getting back involved. Lawson Lucky had a good game. It feels like they're figuring some stuff out. Zachariah Branch made some plays from what I saw. And I don't know. I think Georgia is just figuring out a whole lot more week over week. I think the offense is getting more and more comfortable and more dangerous. But to your point, like, I don't know. The linebackers for Georgia are really good. The secondary is just kind of the bizarre one to me, whether that's Robinson, Everett, Bolden. Part of it's injury. Like, I know they're moving around guys in the back end with Aguero and Thomas and DeMello Jones and all those guys.
Kyron Jones was a guy that kind of come on as that second starter, that other safety spot, and he's not kind of out indefinitely right now too. So you lost one of your starters back there.
Yeah. So to me, it feels kind of, it just feels like a lot of secondary stuff and just not the pass rush just isn't there. But it's just kind of like, I wonder if you have the same feeling that Tennessee fans have about their defense right now. Is just that, like, it just kind of is what it is. Like, I don't think Georgia can fix where they're at with their pass rush here in October 19th. And I think you're kind of super young on the back end and kind of shaky with your secondary right now if you're Georgia. But that's just kind of the nature of the beast. I just think that might just be part of your issues because there's no elite team this year. Like, there's just not one team that's just like has no flaws whatsoever. I mean, Texas A&M's the only undefeated team in the SEC, and they got completely gashed by Arkansas, and we're going blow for blow in that game. So they had to do everything they could to survive on the road in Fayetteville, and to their credit, they won. But again, like, they're not a perfect roster, and there are some holes there. So I don't know. I just think it's just kind of the margins have never been slimmer here in the SEC, and I think Georgia is just. I think people have gotten, maybe I can't speak for Georgia fans, but I think fans all across the conference, especially the top end programs, are just having to get used to, hey, we're like in the middle of a lot of other A- teams where that's just kind of, we could still win it all. We could still, like, Georgia can win it all. Like, Georgia can make a deep run and everything else. It's just, it's not going to be as overwhelming and as dominant as you've seen in years past. And I just think that's the new normal,
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's kind of what it is. And so I was actually tracking second downs in this game because like the story has been third down for Georgia all year. And it was like, I'm looking up at we're in like third quarter, and it's like Ole Miss had like 5 third downs. They were 5 for 5 on their first 5 third downs, but the fifth one came in like the third quarter. Like, it was insane. Like, Alabama went 5 for 5 on that opening drive on third down. That was like 14 play. I think they were like 8 for 8 or something in the first quarter. So it was interesting. I was tracking second down for the first 5 drives of the game. They had 20 second downs, and essentially 15 of them were successful. Like, didn't necessarily convert, but it would be like, it felt like they were in 2nd and 10 the entire game. Like, just so many first down incompletions. And then it didn't matter. They would pick it up. They'd pick up 11 yards on 2nd and 10, or they'd pick up 8 and convert the easy third down. They were just doing whatever they wanted in those first 5 drives. That's why Georgia's offense really just deserves so much credit in this game, because Georgia's offense was the best defense. Like, the fact that they scored on their first 5 drives is insane. The fact that their first 5 drives were the first 3 quarters is just ridiculous. That Ole Miss only got 5 drives in the first 3 quarters of the game because Georgia was just able to dominate the time of possession. Had the ball for almost 38 minutes to 22 minutes for Ole Miss. Like, that was the biggest difference in this game. I have a green line stat of the week for you. A
Okay.
trivia question, half trivia question, half stat of the week. In Georgia's last 11 games versus Power 4 competition, guess how many of those games they were winning at halftime?
0.
The answer is 1. And they were tied in 1. The only one they were winning was a couple weeks ago versus Kentucky. And the one they were tied was last year with against Tennessee. They were losing 9 of those games. They've been losing 9 of the last 11 games at halftime, and they're 8-3 in those games. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this team. It's a this program really, because it's a second year now of doing this essentially, and they just seem to find ways to win more times than not. Like even that Alabama game, how it happened, like it kind of went the script for Georgia to find a way to win in the second half. If Taylor catches that touchdown, you probably kick a field goal instead of going for it with Cash Jones. Even if you get it with Cash Jones, with how well this team has run the ball, and man, it's so frustrating too. Every game since that Alabama game, seeing Gunnar Stockton just QB sneak on 4th and 1. I'm like, I don't know why we don't do that every time. Gunnar Stockton can make those plays with his legs, but I think we've gotten way too far in the conversation without even. I'm not sure you've said the name Gunnar Stockton to this point, sir. And I'll be honest with you. I think if you were to take everything Gunnar Stockton has done this year, stats, clutch moments, 6-1 record, ranked number 5, and you put a burnt orange jersey on him, number 16, that says Manning, the guy would be number 1 in the current Heisman favorite. Like,
No.
He would be absolutely, dude.
No.
You don't think Arch Manning would be the Heisman favorite if he's done what Gunnar Stockton has done to this point?
No, because I think Ty Simpson's still done more. Like Ty Simpson's been better. Like Ty Simpson has been the best quarterback in the SEC. And I don't think it's better than Taylor Green either. I don't think either of these are better than Taylor Green. I think if you put Taylor Green on Texas or on Georgia, maybe he has a much better chance of being a Heisman favorite. Yeah, I'm not. You're going a little bit too far with the Gunnar.
I'm not saying that Gunnar Stockton should be the Heisman winner. Should be the Heisman favorite or anything. I'm just saying if you took what he's done, and if it's Arch Manning stats, I think
Texas fans and everyone feels a lot better about Arch. I would agree with you there. Yes.
I just think. I mean, you look at Stockton's stats to this point. He's thrown. Was he at 10 touchdowns, 1 pick? Sorry, I just had it pulled up. 10 touchdowns, 1 pick, 279 yards on the ground, 7 rushing touchdowns, like completing 70% of his passes. Also, Georgia's won the Tennessee game, like the clutch moments from that game, as well as this game. Like Georgia had to respond, like we're talking about Ole Miss's offense. Like that's why I feel like it's this Georgia's offensive performance is being lost last night. Like with so much talk is about Trinidad Chambliss and this Ole Miss offense, and Georgia went blow for blow with them the entire time. And Gunnar Stockton made more plays because they're the team that won. That dropped 40 in this game, So they're the team that didn't turn the ball over at all, So it's not that I don't think Ole Miss turned it over in this one either, but they had the scoreless in the 4th quarter. Like, I don't know. I think with what Gunnar Stockton has done to this point, if there was more preseason hype about him, he would be among the Heisman favorites right now. So I'm not saying he should be that he's the best quarterback in college football or anything, but I don't think enough attention is being paid to how good Gunnar Stockton has been this year.
I don't know. I'm not gonna.
You disagree?
He's been fine.
I don't know, man. I think Gunnar Stockton has been excellent in SEC games to this point. And it's also just the way he's doing it. Like the way Haynes King is hyped up. Like Haynes King is like America's favorite college football player. Like Gunnar Stockton is doing those types of things.
Georgia's 10th in the SEC right now in passing yards per game. Like, I don't think he's been better than Green. I don't think he's been better than Reed. I don't think he's been better than Mateer when Mateer's been healthy. I don't think he's been better than Pavia.
But it's also Georgia's a balanced team. Like,
right, but I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of guys ahead of him, even within the conference. It's not just
what do some of those guys have rushing production? How many of them have 7 rushing touchdowns to this point?
I mean, Marcel Reed's definitely up there, and Green too. Like Green was I think Green led all of the SEC in all-purpose yards going into this game. So I would assume he's somewhere at the top. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's been fine, but like that. I don't know. I'm not doing this with you. Like Gunner's been fine.
I'm not saying he's been better than Ty Simpson. He's been better than Marcel Reed.
Like he's just an average Georgia quarter. He's just solid. Like
that's where you're wrong. He's not just an average Georgia quarterback.
It's just kind of like the it's just he's solid. Just enjoy. He's solid.
See, that's what.
Like he's
That's
still
what's strange to
a
me,
downgrade
though.
from Beck, right? The best version of Beck 2 years ago.
See, I don't know that. I don't know that.
He's
to
not
this
better
point.
than what you saw 2 years ago from Beck.
I mean, he's not as good. He doesn't have as good of arm talent. No, I agree with you. But
And he's not Stetson Bennett. Like he
doesn't have Brock Bowers and Ladd McConkey on his team either.
True.
Like Georgia's got good playmakers, but they're not. There's not like just a bunch of NFL. Like I think Herbstreit made a comment like it's an embarrassment of riches in their backfield at one point, and it's like I'm not sure. I don't know if we know which one is good. It's like I think they're all solid, but it's far from an embarrassment of riches. And Josh McCray, shout out to Josh McCray for getting that 4th down. That was probably the play of the game. Georgia doesn't win that game if they don't convert that fourth down, down 9, I think, in the third quarter. But I don't know.
I mean, Georgia's 14th in 40-plus yard plays to the air. They only have 2 plays that have gone 40 or more yards this season. Like it's not an explosive passing game. It's fine.
But I think that's what's weird though. I guess I'm thinking about guys like Riley Leonard, like Haynes King that have gotten a lot of hype for just kind of how they will their teams to victory.
Oh, now you're going after Haynes King. You're getting ready for the Georgia Tech game. Haynes, you're not going to say he's better
but I'm
Haynes
saying
King.
Gunnar Stockton is doing that type of stuff. Like, yeah, maybe he's not the
lot less
the
NFL on those teams.
But look at the game. Like Gunnar Stockton scored all 5 touchdowns. Like,
I mean, Gunnar had a good game, but like. But
look what he did against Tennessee when your defense gave up 40 points. Like they scored 44 and he threw for 300 yards.
He had a good game. He had a clutch throw. I mean, I'm not arguing that Gunner's been good. He's just not like an elite quarterback. And there are a lot more elite quarterbacks ahead of him within his own conference.
I think in this conference, he has been as elite as anyone. Other than maybe Ty Simpson, like he's been as good as
he hasn't been better than Pavia. He hasn't been better than the best version of Matier.
I mean, that's
I don't think he's been better than Marcel Reed or definitely Taylor Green.
We've seen the best version of Matier, like how many times though? Like there's like once or twice. Like I don't know. I'm not sure what we're getting from Matier at this point.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I think you're sleeping on. I love it. I think you're sleeping on.
So Taylor Green and John Matier
all over again
are 1 and 2 in quarterbacks with yards. Here in the SEC, Taylor Green is averaging as a player 8.22 yards per play. Like it's not even close. He already has 2,500 total yards. Matt Green.
So many of these people juice their stats against the shitty teams, though. So it's
God.
like
Can you give Arkansas something? Like
Arkansas's got a great offense. I'm not taking anything away from
people
Taylor
defensively
Green.
Week over week. The defense is just awful.
Yeah, I mean Taylor Green. I'm not saying Gunnar Stockton is better than Taylor Green, and to be fair,
I don't know. I feel like you actually are saying he's better than Taylor Green.
I'm saying he's been as good as any of the good quarterbacks in the SEC.
No, but I'm saying he hasn't. He's just been good. He's been like the 4th or 5th best quarterback in the SEC this year.
I think if Taylor catches that 50-yard touchdown against Alabama, I think we're talking differently, to be honest. Like that's another big time play.
Oh my God.
Made. I'm just saying, also think about how I started this conversation. All I said was if you put his stats on Arch Manning's profile, like Arch Manning.
Yeah, why is Arch catching strays?
Because Arch Manning was the one that had so much hype, and people still haven't given up on it. Like
I feel like a lot of people have moved on.
I hope so. Not everyone's moved on, but I don't know, man. I think that's just my main point is that Gunnar Stockton, the preseason predictions of him are just so off of what he's actually done to this point. Is I think people are not recalibrating their expectations to this point. I think he's actually been at least, top 5 quarterback in this conference at this point. At least, that's not how you started
this conversation. I've now talked you back into just top 5. He's somewhere in the top 5, which is fine.
Yeah, but I mean, this conference is loaded with quarterbacks. The other guys you're naming are Heisman candidates. Marcel Reed.
No, there are better quarterbacks all across the country. Like
and
the Big 12
Green
has 5 quarterbacks who are better than Gunnar Stockton right now. Like Gunnar's fine. But you would take Josh Hoover over him. You would take Rocco Becht over him. You would take.
I'm not taking anybody. That's my quarterback.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that's great. I'm glad you're happy.
No.
He's solid. He's fine.
No, he's I think that's where you're wrong. I think he's much better than solid or fine. He's a good quarterback. I'm not saying he is as like the best in the country. I'm not saying there's not plenty of guys that are truly better, but he's much better than like solid or fine. It does start to kind of feel like the Stetson Bennett stuff of like, I don't think people are watching like this dude's a playmaker. Like
Stetson,
that rushing,
I aired it out.
rushing
Gunner's not
touchdown-
airing it out. Like the difference with Stetson is Stetson had some gunslinger.
Look how many
too.
deep balls Georgia completed in that game. Like the first
What do you
one.
mean? He had 2 40+ yard throws all season long.
I mean, sure, whatever. I've
saying
watched.
that's the
I've
reality.
watched it.
I could go to Stetson Bennett 2 years ago. He had like 3 in the Tennessee Georgia game by himself.
I'm just saying Stetson had like 3, or Gunner had like 3 in this game alone. Like the one to Dylan Bell in the fourth quarter, the one to Zachariah Branch. I don't know what the yardage was. The first drive to Colby Young. Like there was multiple deep balls in this game. Also, I don't want to bring up the Taylor
10
one
yards
again,
per attempt through the air. 10 yards through the air. Every throw was averaging 10 yards through the air. It's not the same. Stetson was a gunslinger. He was airing that sucker out.
He's not. I'm not saying he's the exact same player as him, but it's the same conversation that, oh, Stetson's fine, like for a while. And I don't think people were noticing. Like, no,
I mean, he was a Heisman finalist.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't even hyped up for a Heisman finalist until like the last week of the season. And a lot of people also thought that was garbage that he was a Heisman. I remember.
Well, I mean, if Hendon doesn't get hurt, I think Hendon gets it.
Yeah, exactly. I think exactly. We're having the same conversation right now. But
I mean, Hendon was better than Stetson that year, but
that rushing touchdown that Gunner had in this game, like Ole Miss is all over that play. They had a guy for the running back and a guy for Gunner, and he just freaked him and then ran for 20 yards. Like that is some Stetson Bennett type stuff. And I'm not saying he's the same guy. I'm just saying he's being slept on in the same way 2021 Stetson.
He does need to learn how to slide like Stetson. Because he takes some shots, man.
That's not what he does, man. And people love Haynes King for that. That's who he is. He's Riley Leonard.
We talk about it on this program every week, and Haynes has missed time. He's missed games. Like, Haynes has gotten banged up.
He's America's quarterback, though. Just respect Gunner for what he is.
This is just, I'm not, like, Georgia fans. 2 titles, great quarterback play, and you're just like, you want America to bow down to a solid quarterback. Like after
no, that's the only point I'm making, honestly, is that he's much better than just a solid quarterback. Like he's good. Gunner is good. Like if this defense was good, Georgia would be, I think, one of the favorites to win it all right now. But the defense looks really bad, and I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect moving forward. Also, Colby Young may be out for the season.
Oh, I didn't see it was that bad. I saw he left. I didn't realize.
It's a significant injury, and so Kirby Smart said it's not good. So luckily, they did still put up this offensive performance without him.
I mean, that's why you add Thomas, right? Like you still have
exactly. So hopefully it's not. Hopefully Georgia's able to recover. Or hopefully it's not the most serious thing, but it sounds like it could be. But yeah, hopefully Georgia can bounce back from it. But that'll be a big loss, just like it was a year ago when Colby Young was no longer. I feel like he had taken his game to the next level, so it's really disappointing for Colby Young.
On the Tennessee side of things, Matt Green, before I get into my part of it, what did you take away from Tennessee Bama? And Tennessee falling 37-20 on the road in Tuscaloosa Saturday night.
What were my biggest takeaways? Just I don't know. I don't want to pour salt in the wound, but just the 14-point swing. It's like you don't see many games like end in the second quarter. It felt like we all just saw the game end in the second quarter. Like this thing could have been, what was it? 16-9, right? 16-9. We could make Tennessee could have made it a 2-point game.
No, 16-7.
16-7, yeah. Because it was a 9-point game.
Yeah,
that's where I'm confused. 16-7, you could have made it a 2-point game going to the half, and then the 100-yard pick six. It just felt like the game was over, just right then and there.
There was a Tennessee Georgia play like that in the early 2000s.
Oh, absolutely. We were actually doing our live show, our instant reaction show when that happened, and I shouted out to Sean Jones in the 2003 Tennessee. That was literally the first thing I thought of, the 2003 Tennessee Georgia game. But yeah, it was, this Alabama offense is just really good. You saw Ryan Williams make a bigger impact in this game than he has in recent games. But yeah, I think Ryan
Williams was okay. I mean, Jeremy Bernard is their best receiver, and I feel like he is significantly their best receiver. Ryan Williams had a good game, but it was
he
Jeremy
had like
Bernard.
No catches the week before, is all I was saying.
Yeah. Isaiah Horton obviously had a touchdown reception in this game, but he was kind of limited. But I mean, Jeremy Bernard just does everything. Like he was able to spin out of some bad tackling by Tennessee multiple times in this game, but there was a failed reverse that he turned what was going to be like a 7-yard loss into like a 15-yard gain. So when you're talking about here's what's interesting about Tennessee, and I wrote about this today that you can go read and everyone can go read at sportsrenaissanceman.com for all my Tennessee coverage. But I highlighted like one of the things that's going to be lost in the shuffle. And I was thinking about 2023 so much and how different it was for Tennessee on the road in Tuscaloosa versus 25 and 21. And the reason why 23 still bothers me is Tennessee scored on their opening possession, and then they had to settle for 2 field goals in the first quarter as well. So they went up 13-0 at the end of the first quarter. Like Tennessee should have been up 20, maybe. I mean, you could have been up 21-0, but at the very least, you should have been up 3 scores going into the half. And I think I will still maintain Tennessee wins that football game if Bama goes in the locker room 3 scores down at home.
Like, I can't remember the specifics, but I definitely remember the exact same thought of they should be up 21-0.
Yes. And you can't, that's how you win games in the road. That's why Bama is 2-0 with Kalen DeBoer over Kirby Smart. It's because Kirby charges. Like you saw the death march from Kirby in this game and how good, and you talked about it, like how good of a second half team they are and how hard they are to put down. There was a Kirby death march in the Tennessee game for the Dogs. So I just think it's coming, against those big time juggernauts like that second wave is coming. You have to start off strong, I think, in these away games where you put all the pressure on the home team going into the locker room. Like you need to have a great first half. Like this is the first drive Tennessee had this season where they did not have any points because they open with the ball and they go 3 and out because of a stupid penalty, false start on the second play. 3 and out, can't happen. And then you pin. So Jackson Ross pins a Jim. Jackson Ross punted great in this football game. He pins Bama up, and Bama, you have them 3rd and 13 at their own 6. Ty Simpson scrambles around the end zone and finds the Bama tight end open in the middle of the field, and they convert on 3rd and 13. So they proceed to go 91 yards down the field and score a touchdown. Like those are the backbreaking things where it's like you should have gotten off the field after that, pinning them in the back. Like that cannot happen. 3rd and 13 from the 6. Like what are we doing? Like that cannot happen. So there's just breaks where Tennessee did some things right defensively. Like I think they stopped Jam Miller and they did really well against the run, but they just could not get off the field in some key moments. 0 sacks, and this is the second year in a row that Tennessee has just not come up with sacks in big time moments. Like Georgia last year, Beck drops back 40 times. You don't get him on the ground once after him getting just destroyed by Ole Miss the week prior. But the difference this year, why it's more surprising, is that Tennessee led FBS in sacks coming into this game. Like I could not believe that Tennessee did not get home once on Ty Simpson. And again, it's hard to win on the road against top 5 competition when you come away with no sacks. The only turnover you forced in this game was Ty Simpson and his offensive line bumping into and him just fumbling the ball going forward, and which was clearly a fumble, and Tennessee was able to jump on it. But that's the other one where like Jaden Perlotti, true freshman linebacker from Buford, if he picks that ball up and realizes that the ball, like they didn't blow it dead, he's running it back for 6. And who knows what the game looks like at that point. But Tennessee just got possession and they, of course, don't do anything with it. And again, those are things that just cannot happen. But Tennessee, Deshaun Bishop has been your most consistent player the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's averaging 10 yards to carry over his last 2 weeks. He was awesome again in this game. I think Tennessee deserves credit for getting up off the mat. You talk about like the game was over after that 99-yard play, but to Tennessee's credit, they force a 3 and out from Bama out of the half, and then they get the ball back and they score. So they did not let that wreck them. They deserve credit for fighting back. They have so many stupid self-inflicted wounds on the road in these key games that it just drives you nuts. Where the second drive of Tennessee's first quarter, where it was an ineligible player downfield with Braylon Staley, where he was lined up, and that put Tennessee 2nd and 14, and they obviously end up punting again. So you scored no points in the first quarter. And if you told me before this game that Tennessee was not going to score in the first quarter, I would have told you Tennessee's not going to win this football game, because Tennessee starts fast. They put all that heat on Georgia and put like that 14-14 start from Aguilar and company that Georgia, I mean, it took an unbelievable second half from Georgia and an unbelievable play from Gunnar Stockton to London Humphreys and everything else to win that football game. Like Tennessee did not do what they needed to do to win this game on the road. And it's just annoying because I don't think Alabama had some supreme talent advantage in this game. I think Tennessee's closed the gap against the Georgias and the Bamas. I'm not saying the talent's identical, but it's definitely the closest it's been in a really long time. And it shows up that Tennessee's in the blue chip ratio now. they were rotating way too much in the offensive line in the first half. Like, that's got to stop. The drops, Tennessee has a huge drop problem similar to what Georgia had a year ago. Mike Matthews, Miles Kidman had some bad drops in this game. But also, Chris Brazel's been taken away the last 2 weeks. Like, Chris Brazel deep balls are not part of this offense, which, again, hard for Tennessee to win football games when the deep shots aren't there. So I said before the year, I predicted 8-4 for Tennessee. And I think the Georgia game and how those teams started kind of clouded some judgment where you're like, oh, I think this could be a back-to-back playoff team. We're number one in scoring, and it feels kind of like 22 and 21 in some ways. But I don't think that's the case. And now with Oklahoma and Vanderbilt being as good as they are, and you still got to go to Gainesville, I think it's like a ceiling of 9-3, but most likely 8-4 for this team. And it's just kind of a what if year. But I just think Tennessee they have some fatal flaws that I just don't think is getting cleaned up here in late October. They're good at some things, but there are just a lot of just stuff that just drives you nuts in year 5 with Heupel on the road. The penalties, the untimely penalties, and the defensive holes. And I mean, this is back-to-back weeks that opponents have talked mess about Tennessee's defense and then have proceeded to back it up, where Bama receiver called the Tennessee defense a field of dreams, and they proceed to throw all over him. And then the week prior, Mike Washington, the running back for Arkansas, talks about being able to run on Tennessee, and he proceeds to run all over Tennessee, and it just didn't matter. So I don't know, man. There's just a lot of frustrating parts about where Tennessee's at right now. Got to go to Lexington on Saturday and get up off the map. But yeah, it's just kind of a duh. I did not enjoy this game at all. And it was baffling how much Tennessee shot themselves in the foot in some key moments. Joey Aguilar is a warrior, though. He was clearly playing through some stuff and took some dirty shots from Alabama in this game. But yeah, there was a dirty shot. Like, they got the penalty called on them, and I mean that was it, laying on top of Aguilar, the late hit there. But yeah, I mean he took some shots and fought through it. But yeah, I don't know. Tennessee just there's just too many question marks and issues right now where they're good at some stuff, but there's still just too many things where I'm like, I don't think they're running the table. Never say never, but I don't think they're going 10-2. I think there's still another loss or two on the schedule with this group. And it's the same old story with Heupel on the road and these big games where just they cannot get out of their own way. And until that changes, you just kind of have to be like, it is what it is. I mean, it's year 5. Like, anyone who still is waiting for Tennessee to play clean football on the road, it's like Heupel was always penalized horribly at UCF. Like, this is like we're going on like 8 years of like being a highly penalized team. It's just part of the deal with Heupel. So I don't know. Heupel does a lot of right. He's won a lot of football games here, but there are some things like that you see on Saturday where you're like, just tough. Because you should have beaten Georgia. Like, this game doesn't hurt as much if you just close with Georgia, because you should have beaten Georgia. Like, the Georgia loss is way more inexcusable than losing on the road to maybe the best team in the SEC this year. Like, Bama's got the second best title odds right now. Like, I don't think it's a bad loss losing at Alabama. It just hurts more because you should have beaten Georgia. Like, the Georgia one just will bother me for a while because it's just it's just so stupid. Like, they should have beaten Georgia, but
yeah, 40 something yard field goal to win it. No, that's fair. And I didn't necessarily mean like Tennessee's going to give up at halftime when that happened, but like, you look at the final score, 37-20, like that's a 14-point swing. You know, if it's 30-27, who knows how the fourth quarter goes differently, you know? So it's just a massive swing, that sort of play. But Lexington's definitely a place to go to get right. Probably the only place so far this year to go to get right in the SEC. But what's the thing that worries you the most between Oklahoma, that's home, Vanderbilt is on the road?
Vanderbilt's here.
Vanderbilt's at home, and then what was the third game?
Florida,
which is the one that. So Florida's on the road. The other two are at home. What are those 3 games are you most concerned about?
Florida for sure on the road, because until you can get over the House of Horrors there, you also haven't won there since 2003. So until, like, I just think you're going to lose that game, and it's going to be horrific in the way you do it. And then, especially with an interim being what it is and all that, like, it's just going to be, if that happens, it's just brutal. you thought the Alabama loss was brutal. Just wait if Tennessee loses to this interim situation in Gainesville. But and then Oklahoma, I don't feel great about Oklahoma. I think Vanderbilt. I still think Tennessee should be fine. Like I'm not going to say Tennessee loses at home to Vanderbilt. Like I don't think that's going to happen. But Oklahoma at home, I think that's very much on the table. I think that is Oklahoma's defense is elite, and Napier is continuing to get healthier. And I mean, it was an impressive win, just kind of shutting down South Carolina on the road. Like I don't think they're gonna. I mean, obviously they've won here before, and I don't know. I think right now I'd probably go Florida 1, Oklahoma 2, Vanderbilt 3 in terms of most likely to least likely to lose.
See, that's interesting because Vanderbilt AP poll just came out in the top 10.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, Vanderbilt's good.
Yeah, Vanderbilt is a good team. I don't think Tennessee fans are prepared to lose to Vanderbilt. Like it
I don't
doesn't
know. I
matter
think most
what
Tennessee
they're
fans
ranked.
understand that Vanderbilt's really good this year. Like Vanderbilt has
say
40%
that.
of the roster is 22-year-olds. Like this is a all in, put all your chips in situation for Vandy. Like Vandy's falling off the cliff next year, but they're legit. They're legitimately a really good team.
It's identical. Tennessee Vanderbilt is in the last, not all time, in the last decade or so, is identical to Georgia Tech. Like it doesn't matter. It's in-state rivalry. Oh yeah, maybe they have a good season. Like they should never have a good enough season to beat Georgia. So it's Georgia Tech's number 7, Vanderbilt's number 10. Like that, those aren't like bad teams. Those are good teams. Georgia just still is not prepared to lose to Georgia Tech, like in any no shape or form. Like they played 8 overtimes last year. They obviously almost did, but it's never Georgia's never gonna feel like they're like the Georgia Tech game is a losable game. And I feel like Tennessee fans are still there with Vanderbilt. And I don't know. I think this year could be different.
We shall see.
Is there any pressure under Heupel if he loses all 3 of those games? No.
Like pressure in terms of what? Like his
hot
job
seat
security
going into 2026. If they go 7-5, lose to Vanderbilt in Florida.
No, 27 would be the year because everything's building towards 27. Like you've just got so much tied into Tristan Keys, Faison Brandon, George McIntyre, Sanders, and company that like 27 is the year where I think because I've said 2027 is the year you should be able to win a national title with where recruiting is going and where that roster will be age wise. I think 27 is the year you have circled. So if he doesn't break through in 27, then I think that's kind of where it's like, all right, we may have reached our, we may have gotten as much out of this era as we possibly can. So I'm just 27 is the year for me.
Man, that's a long way out. I don't know if college football fans can think that far out.
Yeah, I mean, but he's also just got a high floor. Like high floor guys are not the ones getting fired right now. The low floor guys, the Billy Napiers, the Hugh Freezes. Like I don't think Heupel's losing to Northwestern and UCLA in back.
Did you see some statement said that the administration or boosters aren't holding those first 2 losses against Freeze because basically the SEC just like totally hosed them in the Georgia and Oklahoma. They're basically blaming the Oklahoma and Georgia games on the refs. So they like it was some sort of statement saying like. He's not under pressure. We're basically blaming those 2 games on the refs, so he's good. But that was before the Missouri game, and that was another way that Auburn just found a way to lose.
Okay. How do we do in our Week 8 pick'em, Matt Green?
Let's see. In our Week 8 pick'em, sir, it's a good week for you. You bested me this week, sir. Money line. You went 8-3 this week. I went 7-4. So you lead. You have a 1-game lead, 60-29, and I am 59-30 on the season. And then against the spread, you also beat me. You were 7-4 against the spread this week, up to 44-45 on the season. So just 1 game under 500. And then I went 5-6 this week. Now 50-39 on the season. So I still got a little bit of a lead on you, 6-game lead on you against the spread. And then Zeus's home dog, the Arkansas Razorbacks. They did not win, but they did cover the spread. So I'm going to give him credit for that. And I'm going to call him 6-3 on the season. Because Zeus is about the money. He's not necessarily about the win or the losses. He's just about making people money. So we'll give him credit for that. Felt good about a lot of my home dogs this week. My upset picks. South Carolina, Oklahoma, not so much. They really just I'm not sure South Carolina even showed up to that game. But the other two, Auburn and Arkansas, nearly pulled it off. But the favorites did go on the road and get it done.
There you go. Do you have a green line stat of the week, Matt Green?
Oh yeah, I already did it. It was the Georgia, the trailing at halftime stat.
Okay. Couple of things we can hit on here. Billy Napier officially fired at Florida. As of this taping, Mike Norvell at Florida State has not been fired, but they lose in, I would say, controversial fashion, because I think that was a touchdown. Like, it was very different than what happened with Georgia Auburn last week at the goal line. Like, I generally think Florida State got in there. Like, that one was more bizarre to me that he did not get ruled as a touchdown there. But again, doesn't really matter because Florida State is trending in the wrong direction no matter what there. Crazy that game was ending at like 2:00 in the morning. Like, just what are we doing with these conferences?
Yeah.
Like, just what are we doing playing Florida State, Stanford?
Isn't that how they lost to Wake Forest too? The questionable touchdown, like the dude, they said he didn't have control of it. Am I forgetting that? Florida State at the Friday night game? No?
Are you talking about this year?
Yeah, am I misremembering
Florida
that?
State, yeah, they didn't play Wake. They didn't lose to Wake this year.
Virginia. In that Virginia game. Wasn't that's what it was. The Florida State Virginia game. I mean, I'm mixing up my Friday night games. The Virginia game, that's the one where Florida State had the touchdown that the dude was kind of bobbling through the end zone and they were calling it incomplete.
Yes.
So they've kind of been two questionable games kind of decided that way.
But let's say, for argument's sake, because I think this is so interesting that Florida and Florida State might open at the same time. Two different conferences, two inflection points for both. I'm curious, who do you think is the better job between the two, and who would your first call be if you're the AD for both universities, Matt Green?
Yeah, how crazy is it? The difference between Alabama and Florida State and this, like, for these next 6 weeks since that game, it's they still haven't won a conference game this year. Well, I'll start with the Gators because it feels like the Lane Kiffin stuff is really like picking up steam. Like, it seems to be the only person anyone is talking about, and that just feels perfect. Like, I've never like seen a more perfect marriage between a coach and like a university, like culture stuff, like Spurrier, Urban Meyer, like Lane Kiffin. He's doing what he can easily do what Dan Mullen was trying to do. Dan Mullen's like, oh, I'm the head coach at Florida, so I kind of have to talk shit and stuff now. It's like, no, you don't have to. Not if you're gonna make people cringe every time you try to. But Lane Kiffin is just like that troll. He's a great offensive mind. And he probably, rightly or wrongly, probably has maxed out on what he can do at Ole Miss. I just think Florida, like, if I'm Florida, I make it Lane Kiffin the highest paid coach in college football to like make him say no. Like, I don't know. It makes too much sense. I'll say, as a Georgia fan, that's the last person I would want to coach Florida is Lane Kiffin. So it has to be good.
I just don't think it's gonna be Lane. Lane's got a really good thing at Ole Miss, man. And like, you saw it, Ole Miss was right there on the road at Georgia. Like, you see how Kurt Cignetti is winning at Indiana. I don't know. I think obviously it's a lot more volatile, like doing as much as they do in the portal, but he is winning double-digit games every year right now. You've got a great thing with Simmons and Chambliss over the next couple of years anyway. I don't think it's the Strickland part of it. He gets another hire potentially as AD here. I would hesitate if I'm Lane Kiffin. I'm not sure I would take Florida. Part of it is maybe you want to see if LSU opens, because I would much rather have LSU than I would Florida in 2025, but I think he's got a great thing there, man. And if he believes it's sustainable, I might just see how far you can push the Ole Miss type of deal. It seems like he's got a great relationship with the AD and everybody else. Like, I don't know. You say he's like a perfect fit at Florida. I'm like, he's like a perfect fit at Ole Miss, man. Like, I'm not saying he'll ever win a title there, but I mean, they were the best team in the SEC last year. They just lost stupid games to keep him out of it. Like, I will maintain that Ole Miss in 24 was the best team. And I'm like, if I'm Lane, I don't think I'm leaving for Florida. And I also just don't. So if it's not that, you can't hire another G5 guy. So Summerall's out because you can't replace Billy Napier with another G5 guy. I don't know who I would call if I was Florida. I think Florida and the Strickland part of it is going to be super interesting. Do you swallow some pride and bring Dan Mullen back and be like, yeah, we probably should have never hired Dan Mullen to begin with?
Absolutely not.
But It'd be a good hire.
No.
Like I would do it, but you can't optically.
That would be a good hire, Dan Mullen.
Yeah, Dan Mullen's still great. I mean, UNLV's
No way.
right. They're great again. With Dan Mullen is a great football coach.
But do you not remember all the stories? As soon as he got fired, like all the stories are just coming out of like no one liked him and just all kinds of stuff.
I like
it was
Dan
all
Mullen.
it was
So
all personal. I'm talking about like in the building at Florida. Like,
well, speaking of, I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do. But did you see? Like, I was reading different message boards. I think it was on War Chan, a couple other spots of like who might replace Norvell if they do fire him. Jimbo's name comes up a bunch, and it's like, I mean, he did win a national title there, but he's sitting out. He's doing ACC network stuff. I hadn't considered that Jimbo would be on the table there, but maybe you can get him at a discount because of how much money he got in the A&M deal. So maybe he takes not a hometown, but like some kind of discount.
That's not ridiculous because he did leave A&M. He didn't get fired from Florida State. So, yeah, that's still wild, especially just from I just don't want to have that guy to be the face of my college football program. Like just the way
but he won a title there, and it wasn't like he was awful at A&M. Like he's great for NIL. No. He recruited really well. The 2020 A&M team, I will maintain, was maybe the best team in the SEC that year. Like it was just a bad timing with the COVID year and everything else with Kellen Mond and company. They were really good. So it's not like he never was great at A&M, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, he won a title, like I said. Maybe I think someone pointed out that he's actually only a couple of years older than what Nick Saban was when he took over Alabama. So that to add some context to Jimbo's age, it just feels like he's been in our lives forever. So it seems like he's a lot older than he actually is. But I think he's 60
forever.
I mean, Jimbo has been a college head football coach for what? I mean, my entire adult life, and I guess a little bit earlier than that. So I don't know. I just I don't know where Florida State goes, and I don't know where Florida goes. It's huge hires for both programs, and I will be very, very curious to see what both can do if Norvell is indeed on the out. But life comes at you fast, especially for Norvell, man. Like he was in the mix for the Alabama job 2 years ago. They were on track to potentially be a national champion, and now he could be out.
Yeah, that is wild. I see like the ESPN article that's talking about the Napier firing is naming like Marcus Freeman and Jed Fish and Eli Drinkwitz. It's like, I don't know. Like, I think Missouri feels more sustainable than Ole Miss does, kind of just like in their approach and their like NIL and stuff. Like, I don't know. I think Missouri low key kind of has a good thing going for them. But in terms of Norvell, I don't know. I might be crazy here. Call me a prisoner of the moment. But is there really another option better than Deion Sanders? Like,
it's just the health stuff. Like, I don't think you can go there. Like, I think Deion's done a great job, but I don't know. I don't know if you can commit long term. Like, I don't know. I can't speak to that. I just think that, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak to the Deion part of it, but the health stuff worries me. And I hope he continues to get better and everything else. But it just feels like that'd be a risky proposition. Because couldn't you see Deion just walking away altogether after this year? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I don't know the exact details of Deion's situation and stuff, but I don't know. I'm just thinking if health is like not a factor, obviously.
Yeah, if health is not a factor, you absolutely call
without
Deion.
That part. Deion Sanders recruiting for Florida State would just be, oh my God, it would just be insane. The amount of hype. If just you saw the eyeballs and the social media numbers and stuff that people in suits care about, like just making them a more relevant program in terms of just brand recognition and stuff. It would go a long way. And this dude can coach and you can acquire talent.
Yeah. I don't know where they go. Like that would be a super interesting hire to me in terms of where they would go.
But I mean, more conventionally, if they went James Franklin, like I think that would be a great hire. You don't think so?
I don't think Franklin should take that.
So what should James Franklin take?
I would probably, if I'm Franklin, if my goal is still, I guess it depends on my goal. Like if I still want to win a national title, this jobs that he's been linked to, I'm saying no. Like you're not going to win a national title at Virginia Tech. You're not going to win a title at Maryland.
So is the biggest openings in the country, should James Franklin be a candidate for those? Like the teams that can win championships?
No. But
no? This long pause. I think James Franklin's a really good coach.
He is a really good coach. If I'm UCLA, I hire James Franklin. Like I think that would be like a
UCLA is better than Virginia Tech.
I think there's more potential, not just because they're in the Power 2, but I could see.
I don't know, man. You're saying he should go to use somewhere like UCLA, but he should turn his nose up at Florida State.
No. I am saying Florida State to me is. If I'm Florida State, I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm just picturing him at Florida State. And it doesn't compute. Like it just doesn't. Like I just don't see James Franklin at Florida State.
It doesn't look good in garnet and gold.
Like it just doesn't. I can't see it. Like I don't know. It just doesn't. Jimbo feels such a more Florida State thing to do here in 2025 to me. Like Lane Kiffin feels more likely to Florida State than he does Florida to me.
Interesting.
But I mean, there's a much better path to Lane dominating the ACC than making Florida better than what he's got at Ole Miss. Like I think Lane can make Florida State a perpetual CFP team. I don't know, but if I'm Franklin, I mean, I guess it just depends. Like if you're playing the long game, then maybe Virginia Tech makes sense just because of all your ties. And if you really are going to get that boost in NIL dollars that they're talking about, I think I listen a little bit stronger on Virginia Tech. But yeah, I don't know. That's my gut. I do think Franklin ends up at Virginia Tech. I think that's where he probably ends up. But
that's interesting. I don't know. Maybe he's got to improve his not like he's had a bad reputation, but maybe he's got to like win more or something to prove he can win big games or something. But if I'm one of these big jobs that thinks I should be a contender, even though it's been a while since I've actually truly been a contender, an Auburn, a Florida State, James Franklin would be a great hire for any of those teams, for any of those programs. So I just wonder if it's an ego thing from those programs. Like, oh, we don't want Penn State's trash or something. But dude is a really good coach.
No, he's definitely a really good coach. I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking and like I'm thinking about I'm balancing what I would do and what's most realistic in my mind for these guys. And I'm just like, I can 100% see Jimbo Fisher as the next head coach for Florida State. And I can 100% see Virginia Tech going all in on James Franklin to be like, we're putting all of our NIL money in here. You can win a title in the ACC. You can make the CFP consistently. Like you can make this work here. And then who knows what happens in the CFP. So I don't know. That's my gut is how things go there. Final thing here, Matt Green. What was the biggest surprise result this weekend for you? And what was the most impressive win by a team this weekend for you?
Let's see. Biggest surprises are honestly probably the two upsets, like Louisville beating Miami, and Texas Tech losing to Arizona State. But like kind of the biggest surprise and one of the more impressive wins this weekend was the fact that it wasn't a surprise. Vanderbilt beating LSU.
Yeah.
Like the way they just kind of took care of business. Like fans didn't rush the field. It's just kind of like, no, we beat LSU and we're just like better than LSU. And that's what we kind of said talking about this game. It's like, I don't know. It's really weird to pick Vanderbilt to beat LSU, but I feel like they're just kind of a better team. So yeah I think they're better.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt's legit. I think Vanderbilt's a really good team, and that was impressive. And like you said, we both picked it, so it's not like it was just like a huge stunner. I think people overreacted to the Miami thing, where it's like, all right, we gotta move forward, and like it's not a season ender to lose. Like, and Louisville's a good team. Jeff Brom's a good coach. Like, it's a good win for Louisville, but it's like, yeah, they're still control their own destiny, and they can easily, get to where they want to go ultimately. I think the one that got kind of missed.
The internet just really doesn't like Carson Beck, also. So
Miami. I just think
they don't ever miss a chance to dunk on Beck.
Yeah, and I would say Friday night, like Nebraska quietly getting put in the locker by Minnesota was kind of like, like they're 5-2 now. We'll see what they look like. That was an impressive win for Minnesota to do what they did.
Also,
I would say Tech, by the way, just going to Duke and taking care of business, because we both were like, I don't know, this is a big spot for them. And the other one, Missouri, like finding a way, like in a double overtime thriller, because I think Auburn did everything again to not win that game, but Auburn should have won it, just if you are keeping up and went back and watched a lot of it. But Mizzou deserves credit for going on the road and winning that game, because now you're getting game day. Like Mizzou Vandy next week is huge. Like, who would have ever thought 7 years ago that Vanderbilt Mizzou would be a college game day host?
Yeah, that is insane. And along the lines of the Vanderbilt performance too, of like surprising, it's not surprising, is Texas, Kentucky. It's like, we're not even talking about Texas just looking mediocre as hell again and barely beating Kentucky. And honestly, they don't beat Kentucky without that punt return at the end. And he set up both score. I think he set up a touchdown earlier in the game with a nice punt return too. Like, that was just like, Texas isn't even good and it doesn't even register anymore. It's just like, they barely beat Kentucky, huh? Wow, yeah, Texas.
Speaking of, it's kind of crazy that like Kentucky, I feel like if you're Kentucky, you can't fire Stoops this year because too many great jobs are opening in the SEC, where it's like Auburn, LSU, Florida, all these, and you're like, man, we're getting the last pick if we make a move this year. And obviously Stoops buyout's crazy, but you're 0-4 in the SEC, clearly the worst team in the conference, and it's just like there's no buzz at all. Like, it's just like, it's just where we're at. Like, it's just,
can you take one of the fired guys though? Like, is Napier a candidate at Kentucky, or I don't know, Hugh Freeze, Norvell, James Franklin? I don't know. I think he's a little above Kentucky. That'd be a home run if they could get it. Of course, we know he did at Vandy, but also
Norvell would not be a bad hire at Kentucky.
Also, Napier not blowing this game against Mississippi State was also surprising, because Florida could have easily, I don't know how Florida pulled this out at the end. Like, all Mississippi State needed was a field goal, and some reason they're passing with less than 30 seconds left, and defensive lineman picks it and Florida holds on. But that was nearly another one that Napier's kind of late game situation just could have blown the game, not running the ball on that 3rd and 1 late in the game. But yeah, Florida found a way to win, I guess, give Napier one last win as a Gator head coach.
Well, Matt Green, what can the good folks check out from you over at Georgia Voice College Football this week?
This week we'll be coming to the people on Tuesday live at 7 p.m. But yeah, just check us out. We do our weekly show every week. Won't be a post-game show. Georgia's got a bye week this week, but then probably talking about the Gators and stuff like that. So yeah, check us out, Georgia Voice of College Football.
There you go. Matt Green, always a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again next week.
Yes, sir.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.